Eat the Frog, page 23. Increase your return on energy. One of your top goals at work should be for you to get the highest uh, possible return on your investment of mental, emotional, and physical energy. The good news is that every minute spent in planning saves as many as 10 minutes in execution. It only takes about 10 to 12 minutes for you to plan out your day, but this small investment of time will save you at least 2 hours, 100 or 120 minutes in waste time and diffuse effort throughout the day. You may have heard of the 6P forum. It says proper prior planning prevents poor performance. When you consider how helpful planning can be in increasing your productivity and performance. It is amazing how few people practice it every single day. And planning is really quite simple to do. All you need is a piece of paper and a pen. The most sophisticated pilot computer program on Time Planner is based on the same principle. It is based on your sitting down and making a list of everything you have to do before you begin. 2 extra hours per day. I will work from a list when something new comes up. Add, add it to the list before you do it. And you can increase your productivity and output by 25% or more by about 2 hours from the first day that you begin working consistently from a list. Make out your list the night before. At the end of the workday, move everything that you have not yet accomplished onto your list for the coming day and then add everything that you have to do the next day. When you make out your list the evening of the night before, your subconscious mind works on your list all night long while you sleep. Often you will make up with great ideas and insights that you can use to get your job done faster and better than you had initially thought. The more time you take to make written list of everything you have to do in advance, the more effective and efficient you will be. Different lists of different purpose. There are different lists that you need for different purpose. First, you should create a master list on which you write down everything. You can think of that you want to do sometime in the future. This is the place where you capture every idea that comes to or every new task or responsibility that comes up. You can then sort out the items later. Second, you should have a monthly list that you make up the end of the month ahead. This may contain items transferred from your master list. Here you should have a weekly list where you plan your entire week in advance. This is a list that under construction uh, as you as you go through the current week. This discipline of systematic time planning can be very helpful to you. Many people have to tell me that the habit of taking a couple of hours at the end of each week to plan the coming week has increased their productivity dramatically and changed their lives completely. This technique will work for you as well. Finally, you transfer items from your monthly and weekly list onto your daily list. These are the specific activities and that you are going to accomplish that day. As you work through the day, tick off the items on your list as you complete them. This activity gives you a visual picture of accomplishment. It generates a feeling of success and forward motion. Seeing yourself working progressively through your list motivates and energies you. It raises your self-esteem, and self-respect. Steady, visible progress propels you forward and helps you to overcome procrastination. Planning a project. When you have a project of any kind, begin by making a list of every step that you will have to complete to finish the project from beginning to end. Organize the project by priority and sequence. Uh, uh, Lay out the project in front of you on paper or on a computer so that you can see every step and task. Then go to work on one task at a time. You will be amazed at how much you get done in this way. In this way, as you work through your list, you will feel more and more effective and powerful. You will feel more in control of your life. You will be naturally motivated to do even more. You will think better and more creatively, and you will get more and better insights that enable you to do your work even faster. As you work steadily through your list, you will develop a sense of positive forward momentum that enables you to overcome procrastination. This feeling of progress gives you more energy and keeps you going to throughout the day. One of the most important rules of personal effectiveness is the uh, 10-90 rule. The rule says that the first 10% of time that you spend planning on organizing your work before you begin will save you as much as 90% of the time in getting the job done once you get started. You only have to try this rule once to prove into yourself. When you plan each day in advance, you find it much easier to get going and to keep going. The work goes faster and smoother than ever before. You feel more powerful and competent. You get more done faster than you thought possible. Eventually, to become unstoppable. Eat that frog. 1. Begin today to plan every day, week, and month in advance. Take a notepad or sheet of paper, or use your PDI or BlackBerry, and make a list of everything you have to do in the next 24 hours, and to it as new items come up. Make a list of all your projects, the big multitask jobs that are important to your future. 2. Lay out each of your major goals, projects, or tasks by priority, what is most important, and be sequence what has to be done first, what comes second, and so forth. Start with the end in mind and work backward. Think of paper on paper. Always work from a list. You'll be amazed at how much more productive you become and how much easier it is to eat your frog. Chapter 3. Apply the 80 80-20 rule to everything. We always have time enough if we will, but use it right. Wolfgang von Goethe. The 80-20 rule is one of the most helpful of all concepts of time and life management. It is also called the Pareto principle after its founder, the Italian economist Wilfredo Pareto, who first wrote about it in to 1895. Pareto noticed that people in his society seemed to divide naturally into what they called the vital few, the top 20% in terms of money and influence, at the triple many, the bottom 80%. He later discovered that virtually all economic activity was subject to this Pareto principle as well. For example, the rule says that 20% of your activities will account for 80% of your result, 20% of your customer will account for 80% of your sales, 20% of your products or services will account for 80% of your profits, 20% of your tasks will account for 80% of the value of what you do, and so on and so on. This means that if you have a list of 10 items to do, two of those items will turn out to be uh, worth as much or more than the other 8 items put together. Number of tasks versus importance of tasks. Here is an interesting discovery. Each of these tasks may take the same amount of time to accomplish, but one of or two of those tasks will contribute five or ten times the value as any of the others. Often, one item on a list of 10 things that you have to do can be worth more than all two other 9 items put together. This tax is invariably the frog that you should eat first. Can you guess on which items the average person is most likely to procrastinate? The sad fact is that most people procrastinate on the top 10 or 20% of items that are the most valuable and important. The better few, they busy themselves instead with the least important 80%, the trivial money that contribute very little to results. Focus on activities versus accomplishments. You often see people who appear to be busy all day long, but they seem to accomplish very little. This is almost always because they are busy doing things that are of low value, while they procrastinate on the one or two activities that, if they completed quickly and well, could make a great difference to their companies and to their careers. The most valuable tasks you can do each, they are often the hardest and most complex. But the payoff and rewards for completing this task efficiently can be tremendous. For this reason, you must adamantly refuse to work on tasks in the bottom 80% while you still have tasks in the top 20% left to be done. Before you begin work, always ask yourself is this task in the top 20% of my activities or in the bottom 80%? Good. Resist the temptation to clear up small things first. Remember, whatever you chose to do over and over eventually becomes a habit that is hard to break. If you choose to start your day on low value task, you soon develop the habit of always starting and working on low value tasks. This is not the kind of habit you want to develop or keep. The hardest part of any important task is getting started on in the first place. Once you actually begin work on a valuable task, you seem to be naturally motivated to continue. There is a part of your mind that loves to be busy working on significant tasks that can really make a difference. Your job is to feed this part of your mind continually. Motivate yourself. Just thinking about starting and finishing an important task motivates you and helps you to overcome procrastination. The fact is that the amount of time required to complete an important job is often the same as the time required to do an unimportant job. The difference is that you get a tremendous feeling of pride and satisfaction from the completion of something valuable and significant. However, when you complete a low-value task using the same amount of time and energy, you get little or no satisfaction at all. Time management is really life management, personal management. It is really taking control over the sequence of events. Time management is control over what to do next, and you are always free to choose the task that you will do next. Your ability to choose between the important and the unimportant is the key determinant of your success in life and work. Effective, productive people discipline themselves to start on the most important task that is before them. They force themselves to eat the frog, whatever it is. As a result, they accomplish vastly more than the average person and are much happier as a result. This should be your way of working as well. Eat a frog. Make a list of all the key goals, activities, projects, and responsibilities of your life today. Which of them are or could be in the top 10% or 20% of tasks that represent or could represent 80% or 90% of your results? Two, resolve today that you are going to spend more and more of your time working in those few areas that can really make a difference in your life and career, and less time on lower value activities.